All right, Atrioc, give me the rundown. Give me the rundown, dude. Okay, we're consuming LA riot slop, okay? LA riot slop, okay? Or sorry, the western border slop, okay?
Hi, I am not doing a normal clip today. In fact, we probably missed our upload, which is my fault, not Adish's, because I told him that I wanted to record something about the LA protests. And then I couldn't really find the words. So I had a whole presentation and I decided I just really kind of want to do it in one take from the heart and just to say what I'm feeling. I went to the LA protests in person
Higher quality
yesterday
video.
and
Hello.
talked to people and gave out water and even gave out some flags because I'm an optics guy and I thought it'd be nice if we had some.
Based optics guy. Okay, I think this is around where I stopped watching the video, but like, yeah, the flag that he holds up is pretty epic and based. But yeah, I mean, like, it feels as though maybe he's been taking notes from Destiny. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't be that controversial to be pro optics, okay? But it feels as though Atrioc does actually follow Destiny, and maybe I don't know, who knows? But yeah,
Amera Mexican flags to show
yep.
that, it's very
Optics
American
matters.
to protest. You should be allowed to do it. And I saw a lot of stuff online that's like really deeply misinformation. And so I want to talk. I just want to talk about
By the way, that's a sick flag, okay?
it.
Or not?
Amera Mexican flags to show.
It's like half. It has the top left of the American flag, right? The stars, and then it's like another part of it is like half of it is also the Mexican flag. It's really cool. It looks really cool. Okay.
That it's
Yeah, it
very
unironically looks
American
really
to
cool.
protest. You should
Yeah.
be allowed to do it. And I saw a lot of stuff online that's like really deeply
Very base flag.
misinformation. And so I want to talk. I just want to talk about it. Well, actually, there's two things I want to talk about. One is I think we all know why Trump is doing this. The news cycle 1 week ago was everyone's infighting over the big, beautiful bill. Republicans are in disarray. Elon Musk is calling Trump a pedophile and saying we're going to have a recession by the end of the year. Economic data was coming out that was really bad. I mean, jobs are not hiring. Like most big companies are just completely frozen on hiring. And house sales are plummeting. Like people are just, there's way, way, way more sellers than buyers now, which means we're due for like tumultuous times, at least for the late summer. And that was what all the news cycle
Not
was covering.
good.
And you know Donald Trump, he's watching cable news in the White House every night. And this news cycle was bad. And I think he needed to shift the news cycle. There's another fact you might not know is that of all of the issues that Trump is polled on, there's only one where he's not underwater. And that's immigration. 54% support on immigration. Everything else is under 50%. He's plummeting on the economy, on foreign policy, on trade, on inflation. Okay, but on immigration, if you can focus a story on that, he's still popular. And that's because 98% of Republicans back him on this. He's got it's lockstep. The one unifying thing of all the different factions of the Republican Party is that they want to kick out immigrants, ideally in the most public and like demeaning way possible. And so that's what he needed the story to be. And obviously, listen, I know California is like statistically the most unpopular state. Los Angeles is probably the most unpopular city in California. And Karen Bass, the mayor, is terrible, right? So if you can make that your enemy and get a big news cycle out of that, it's
I think California hate is gay. Okay. I think it's gay. All right. You're talking about managing one of the largest states, bigger than a lot of countries. Okay, with that is the size of like five other average United States, okay? With a population that is so massive, you can't even begin to comprehend how big it is, okay? And then in addition, all right, motherfuckers in the government have to like figure out how to control this many people, all right? And then this entire like the GDP of California is greater than the GDP of Japan, okay? And the GDP of California is what is the fourth largest economy in the world, okay, or fifth largest or whatever. All right. It's expensive to live in, but the weather's great, right? There's a lot of things to be proud of in California. The multicultural, the diversity in California is one of the most unique in the entire world. Like forget about the United States, okay? Um, yeah, the diversity in California is like insane. It's unhinged, all right? But here we are, right, with this many people hating California. I think some patriotism really needs to come back, okay? Some patriotism for our glorious state really needs to come back, okay? As somebody who has lived in California my entire life, all right, except for some years, but yeah.
It's gonna rile everyone up and get people back on your side. And that's what's going on here. Okay. I think we all know that. This is all to get people to stop talking about Epstein and the big bill and the
Yeah.
shitty economy and trade.
Well, it's also to escalate the rising police force hold on the whole thing, right? Like it's also to control the population. I don't know, like okay, Trump is really purposeful and good at controlling the spotlight, right? Obviously, that's what he's doing.
It's
But
to
yeah.
focus back on the one core issue. However, I want to talk about that issue. My wife is Latina. I don't know if you guys know this, and her parents are Mexican. And they're staying with us right now, and I'm talking to them. And I've met her.
Wait, my wife?
One core issue. However, I want to talk about that issue. My wife is Latina. I don't know if you guys.
He has a wife? Fuck. He has a wife. Okay, we gotta stop watching now. I'm kidding.
Know this, and her parents are Mexican. And they're staying with us right now, and I'm talking to them. And I've met her family, and many of them are on that borderline. Some are American citizens, some are trying to get their green card, some are, in the process. Just knowing this many good people who have to live in like a consistent, elevated state of fear. And that's not just them. I shouldn't make it all about my family. I was talking to people yesterday at the protest. It's just a heightened state of fear. And I know if you look at the most incendiary photos and videos of this protest and you see some guy on the hood of a burning Waymo with a Mexican flag, you think,
I actually think, again, I know people are really afraid to. I know a lot of content creators are really afraid to, but I think content creators just need to start like going after people like Asmin Gold, okay? Sure, this guy has a lot of power. If you're somebody who is also regarded to be popular, you're not sure you can win a beef against somebody like Asmongold. But honestly, I think this is like if you really believe in this cause, I think you should really combat everything in this conflict. Not just talking about the truth of the protests, but also calling out people who really deserve it. Because otherwise, you're not really fighting the war on all fronts and being brave about it, being brave about the issue and whatnot, right? You're just fighting a protracted anal relapse or some shit. I don't know. Like you're trying to fight. You're like fighting the symptom, not the cancer, right? Like
oh, that guy's a problem. You know what? He is. Lock that guy up. I don't care. But understand that 99% of the people, more than that, 99.9% of the people at that protest are just trying to express a very human.
I've never been a content creator, but isn't the rule if people talking about you positive or negative, that's a win? Yes. Yeah. It is a win, actually. So yeah.
Desire to stop getting
And by the way, there needs to be a balance, okay? I'm not saying you should only purely live on hate or purely live on love, okay? I have been in both situations where there are situations in which you are living on hate or love or whatever the fuck, right? But I'm just saying you need a good balance, and they like this is one of these jobs. Like being a content creator is one of these jobs where you can't afford to fuck. I just fucked up this mission. Where you can't afford to be lazy about certain things if you want to keep on growing. But yeah,
with
that's
by ICE, dude.
my
It's
opinion.
crazy, especially, it's like if you bring up race, it becomes this whole thing. But especially if you're brown, dude. 4.8 million people in Los Angeles County are Latino, and they're afraid. Dude, you talk to them, they're afraid. They're walking around carrying birth certificates and papers and passports because they're afraid because there's like plainclothes, no knock raids happening. ICE has always been like a problematic organization, but even the head of ICE under Obama is saying, what the fuck is going on with this version of ICE? Okay, Stephen Miller has gone insane, dude. And there's direct quotes where they're saying things like, I'm sorry, let me make sure I get the exact quote right, but it's things like, do what you need to do to make more.
Yeah, Stephen Miller just might actually be one of the most evil people on the face of the planet. Like, it's really hard to describe this guy without like actually telling it as it is. Because if you watch, like, honestly, if you watch any of his like talks or speeches or anything, or any of his media appearances, like he is like actual diabolical. Like he is actually a supervillain. Like there's nobody more supervillain than this guy. Like holy shit.
Arrests. Just
But
go
yeah.
out there and arrest illegal aliens. Gang members and violent criminals are not the sole target. These are like direct quotes. And I think, I mean, I
Jeez,
hope that the people that
dude.
voted on the subject of immigration, at least some of them, bought into the hype that it was all about gang members and violent criminals. Because at the end of the day, nobody is really opposed to a gang member or a violent criminal getting locked up. But that's not what's happening. I can go through story after story, but here's a recent one, dude. A pregnant woman, American citizen, but she's Latina, was detained by ICE. And they accused her of being a Mexican and trying to have her baby in America, and it wasn't true. And that plus two plainclothes ICE officers showed up at a school trying to investigate a second grader. They
Oh yeah, they were like going into classrooms and shit, trying to round them up.
said they had the parents' permission. They
Crazy.
didn't. And then when asked to show their badge, they had the badge out. When they asked to write down the information, they hid the badge and went away. It's just like story after story of not following any sort.
Dude, actually Gestapo like behavior. Like unironically Gestapo type beat, dude. Like actually just like Gestapo related actions. It's insane.
Sort of protocol of wearing a
Secret police
mask,
type shit.
of just creating this culture of fear, primarily among more vulnerable people. I think it doesn't take too much empathy to imagine yourself in the shoes of someone like that and understand how it makes you afraid and want to speak out and want to push back and want to do something. Now, again, I feel like you have to say this. I don't think people should loot. I don't think people should burn cars. But understand, just really understand how small a percent that is. And you can't ignore or write off the real demands of a lot more people because somebody in that group is going to be stupid. It's like trying to make a YouTube video, but you can only make it if there's no stupid comments. It's like, what am I supposed to do? I'm going to make a video. There's going to be 100,000 views. There's going to be some stupid comments on this thing. What can I do about it? If you get a big enough group, someone's going to poison it. But you don't get to write off the entire message. And the message is that what is happening around immigration here is not working. It's not working on any level, actually, because the number of deportations is down from Biden. It's not effective. It's just about being this public display of power, really, of demeaning this. It's fewer deportations, but more cruel ones. Yeah, I don't have a nicer or better way to say it. It just sucks, dude. It just sucks. And
Yeah, I mean, like knowing that his wife is Latina now, like I didn't even know that his wife was Latina. Okay, but the fact that like knowing his wife is Latina puts into perspective like how serious he is on this. I mean, like I'm not saying that you necessarily need a Latina wife in order to be serious about the situation, right? Somebody who is directly affected, but you know, like it goes to show that he probably cares about this a little bit more than just like economics, right? Or
if you
whatever. Yeah.
talk to people that are affected by this or out there
I get
protesting,
it.
dude, it's people that are just broke or hardworking, or like, it's not like the people that are in power or benefiting from society. I don't understand. There's a great quote.
Big A should give Asmin a big ass from me. Like again, I do actually advocate for people who traditionally do not speak out on these, because again, if you do genuinely believe, you should be fighting the war on all fronts, right? Like yeah, like other, because nobody likes a person who half-asses things, right? No, nobody likes a person who only half-asses things. It's just yeah.
It was from Lena Khan's like deputy, and he said, God, let me get my quote again. I'm sorry, it's late, bro. He said, "Be skeptical of any analysis in which the least powerful people are the most responsible for your problems." I don't know how to tell you this, but the dude sprinkling tahini on mango on the corner is not your problem. The dishwasher is not your problem. We do have big problems in America, and they're not caused by broke people working hotel service. And they're the ones being harassed and punished. And if any group of them tries to speak up or be like, this is wrong, then it becomes a quote riot. Okay, no matter what they do, it becomes a quote riot, because these are not the people that are burning Waymos. Okay, I'm gonna cut myself off there because it was late last night and I tended to ramble. Okay, it's the next day.
No, that was beautiful. Wait, what the fuck? That has to be one of the most coherent ramblings I've ever heard then. Like if that was the equivalent of a late night ramble, like holy shit. Like that was beautiful. Like that. That was the most coherent rambling. Dude, this guy is actually so. Oh my god, I'm such a fan of this guy, dude. Atrioc is actually such a real one.
Hey, I think I got my point across. That's enough there. And I left out some important things that I did want to say that I'm going to say today. So, just to wrap this video up, I want to talk about misinformation specifically, which I think is important. Because this is one of these first big major news events that I'm living through, that I am there I'm right next to what's going on and I'm seeing it. And I'm getting texts from people asking if I'm okay and all
Good
this.
glaze.
And it's so obvious to me now that I see it live how much is being overblown or misplayed or tweaked or whatever. I'm gonna give you some examples. There's a big Shohei Ohtani mural in Lowell, Tokyo. And I was there because the protests are like right there and there's a line of cops and I'm there at the Ohtani mural. And someone there is talking about how Ohtani said, quote, "There's a right way and a wrong way to get into this country. They broke the law. They have to go." And so I looked this up and there's this viral tweet that's going around at the time that has 98,000 likes quoting Ohtani saying they've got to go. And I'm like, damn, really, Ohtani? That's kind of wild. And so I looked more into it and the tweet is from Talking Basabel _ a fake account. The quote is entirely made up. But by the time that gets figured out and corrected in the comments, they get like 1,000 likes, and this got 98,000. It went viral, and I was hearing it in person. Then you got Ted Cruz, who is posting, "This is not peaceful," talking about the
Okay, he's calling people out. That's good. I mean, he is calling people out, right? I mean, it's not Asmin Gold, but it is Ted Cruz at the very least, like easy targets. All right, but I'm just, you gotta fight the war on all fronts, okay?
protests. Again, I'm there. It's 99.9% peaceful. It's just people waving signs and honking and whatever. Ted Cruz is posting a video from 2020, implying that that video is from today. It's a lie, but again, that gets 1 million likes, and then by the time people correct it, and then, my God, dude, sorry, I could go forever on this, so let me wrap it up today. I need to get this video out. Gavin Newsom, my personal friend now that I've interviewed him, we talk. I disagree on some things, but we chop.
What the fuck? You talked to Gavin Newsom?
Pop it up in the DMs. He made a tweet where he said, "You sent your troops here without fuel, food, water, or a place to sleep." And it shows a bunch of National Guard just sleeping on the floor of a federal building because they don't have any place to be, kind of implying that this whole thing is rushed and mismanaged and wasn't coordinated, and they're not even doing anything because they aren't necessary for this 2-block wide protest that is not. Anyway,
Base food streams are the best. That's why you guys should donate to show your support, okay? Listen, I can tell you guys are fans, big fans of me, in fact, okay? Remember, all right? If you guys want to do the most base thing ever, okay? You can put a super chat, donate some memberships, all right? Do some cool shit. All right? Go to aura.com/foodshops, all right? Remember, Aura is pro lolly, okay? Okay, all right, that's enough. Okay, the point is, okay? Yeah, please consider supporting me financially, okay? Monetarily. Yeah, thank you.
but I'm getting started. And he posted a picture of them seated on the floor. And then all the responses are like, "At Grok, is this true?" And then Grok goes, well, actually, Grok has a different answer for like every person, but it keeps repeating things like, "The photos originated from Afghanistan in 2021." Because they're seeing troops in like desert camo on the floor. And Grok is just machine learning guessing. But actually, the photos are of the National Guard from July 9th.
Yo, what the fuck, Foodshops? I'm not femboy, bro, GG.
From June 9th, from like 2 days ago. Okay, it's a real thing. He took it from a newspaper article. That's frustrating. It's frustrating that almost every piece of misinformation I see about what's going on in LA is followed by someone saying, "At Grok, is this true?" And then Grok just making something up, just making up a random day, or it's just not. It's not helpful in any way. This whole culture of Grok, is this true, is like hitting headfirst into reality of a real-time breaking news event and coming up like, "Oh, this is pretty fucking useless." If you don't live here, maybe you can't tell the difference. You don't know.
Is Trump the only motherfucker to deploy issue? Technically not. Right. Yeah, technically not, but at the same time, it is unprecedented, okay? Because there is very few examples of deploying something like this.
Grok tells you something, you go off with it. But it's a problem. Again, I fell for this, dude. I fell for it. I'm on social media and I see a thing of the Kobe mural. I used to live right next to it, like literally. I could see it from my window. And there's a Kobe Bryant and his daughter mural in LA. It's all tagged. It got all graffitied. And I was like, that sucks, man. Why would you? You know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't help the protest. Why are we tagging the Kobe mural? Everyone loves that. It's like a symbol of LA. And then I actually looked into it because I was falling victim to misinformation. And I found out there's a news report showing it got tagged 2 days before any of this began. It was on the 4th. The ICE raids and the protests didn't start till the 6th. So, but it all gets lumped in on social media and gets 100,000 likes. And the replies are like, wow,
I did.
these animals are
thank you.
Even tagging Kobe. It's just one dude on the 4th, and now it becomes part of this protest story. I'm getting off topic. The point is, this is not a big news story, but it is just hitting me in reality. Social media is just filled with horseshit. that will.
I wish people would care, even though it doesn't personally affect them, right? Like, I'm not saying Atrioc will not care if his life wasn't Latina, but I'm just saying, even if you have something, you don't have anybody in your life who is Latina or anybody like that, I think it's good to practice some empathy and sympathy and to actually see whether or not, like, I don't know, whether it's okay or not. Anyway, which has this reactionary content. What do you mean? I just like this content creator. What the fuck?
Will just tell you whatever you want to believe. And that's always frustrating, but it's extra frustrating when you're seeing it live and then you're looking online and people are just telling you things that are not true. Or people that have good intentions are texting me like, oh my God, it's so dangerous. Just to be clear, this whole thing is like within, 3 or 4 blocks of a massive city. If you're 4 blocks away, people are at a cafe. They don't even notice. It's just real. Anyway, okay. Enough said. Look, I got 10
You're reacting? Yeah, no shot. No fucking shit.
A million more things I could say, and I'm probably
That's what I do. I'm a reaction.
These protests
streamer.
are starting to spread nationwide.
Reaction.
And I think there's some in
commentator.
Seattle and Denver and Boston and New York. They're all over. All right. And then on Saturday we've got like this No Kings protest in response to Trump is now doing a birthday/military parade. There's going to be protests about that, and I'm sure one of them will escalate because there's a lot of people who are angry and something's going to happen, and then who knows. But the last thing I'll say is this: I can tell you my hand to God from being there in person, to call this an insurrection, as in people who are trying to violently revolt and take over the government, is insane. And he keeps saying it over and over again because that would give him the basis to invoke the 1807 Insurrection Act. And the Insurrection Act, which hasn't been used for 200 plus years, okay? Again, the last time this law when it was written, was before the invention of the steamboat. And he is trying to claim that this small little, 3 burning Waymos in LA is cause for him to get emergency extra powers over the military and over the ability to police our cities. And that's crazy. Already sending National Guard without governor approval hasn't been done for 60 years. And that was...
I really want to know what the military is like the average military person is thinking about this when they're being deployed. Okay, like are they supportive, or are they going like, okay, I'm a little miffed that I don't actually believe in Trump, that I'm being sent to this, or oh, I support Trump but I don't support the fact that I am being used for this purpose, or oh, I fully support Trump and I am fully supporting the fact that we need to put all these people down, right? I wish there was just some way for me to know, like, to know what they think about this. Dude, Pew Research, please come in clutch, okay? Pew Research, please come in clutch, okay, please. Okay.
To help protect civil rights marchers going to Selma, okay? Now we're using it unnecessarily to inflame a protest in LA. I'm not happy with how this has been handled, but I'm hopeful that if people...
Doesn't Asmin complain about the government wasting money all the time? Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck, dude. Remember, everything to Asmin Gold is reality television, okay? He doesn't actually care about politics, okay? Everything to him is completely fake.
Hear and listen to what's actually going on. We can come to a consensus agreement. I actually think that the common sense approach that most people have is deport violent criminals, follow due process, secure the border, but immigration reform so that people that are safe and beneficial and want to work here don't have to wait 15 years to get a green card. They can find a way to adapt to get into society. I think these things are what most people want. I hope. Thanks for listening. Okay, I can't ramble forever. Appreciate you. Don't trust everything you read on Twitter. I took this photo, by the way. It is the only graffiti that I liked. And it just says, National Guard D's nuts. Which I think reminds me of MLK in a way, in its inspirational defiance.
I love this guy, dude. I actually love this guy. This guy's great. Oh my god.